Hi, my name is Derek Viveros, and thanks for watching. And I wanted to share, my intention in this video is to share with you the journey that I've been on and that I'm going to be going on in the days, weeks, months, years, decades ahead of me. And I thought it would be really cool for my own self, for the people around me, the fans and the followers, the clients that I've had with what I've created so far, to kind of just see how it is to do what I'm trying to do, to kind of find a purpose in your life and a mission, and then like moving towards it. And the intention is to basically, like give you a kind of a behind the scenes look at what it's like to kind of go for your dreams and to imagine something really cool and then try to make it happen. I don't have all the answers. I definitely don't have all the answers. I'm still in the early stages of this. I'm also learning a lot. You'll see a lot of the challenges that I face internally, externally. And yeah, so I just wanted to, this is a raw video. I'm not like gonna even edit it. I just want to kind of do it, post it. I don't really want to get into the details of, all the small details of like having to do all the tech work and all that, because frankly, my perfectionism has been something that's slowed me down quite a bit in my journey, and I don't want it to stop me. So as much as I want this video to be like super awesome and amazing, and the clarity and the quality of it to be just perfect, yeah, I have to get over that, and that's kind of, that's one big lesson for me. So this is kind of another act of kind of having faith in that and just taking the step forward and just making the video, for gosh sakes. This task here has been on my wall for like 2 weeks, so this is an example of how we can procrastinate. So anyway, a little bit about like, kind of where I've come from so far. The last, about 4 years ago, so I had my own marketing agency, and I was doing that for like 8 years, doing decent with it, made a decent life for myself, living downtown Toronto. But there was something inside that was just like, you know what, I need to do something else. There's something else, bigger for me, kind of thing. So I went through a journey of discovery, and creative process, and really asking big questions like, what would I do with my time if money and my own limiting beliefs didn't play a role? And it was crazy. Like, I had all these ideas that really I was like, what am I talking about? Like, why would I write that down? But I had a rule for myself, and it was to write everything down that came to me and not judge it at all and worry about that part after, but just to write everything down. So I did that. And long story short with that, because I kind of want to give you a little bit of an overview at this point. Maybe I'll do a video in the near future on the creative process. But I had this idea for the shoe, and to make a sneaker that I really liked. I didn't even really know what that would be or whatever, but I just knew I had good taste. Like, I wanted to make it like a really good quality shoe and good materials and stuff that I liked, right? That was the crazy idea that I ended up like following and actually like exploring more. And this came out of that process, the Womodoro shoe. Womodoro means man of gold. And so it's this symbol of this feeling that I have inside of me and that I've always had as a kid, to be the best man that I can be, and to inspire others, hopefully, to want to reconnect with that thing inside of themselves of like this greatness feeling. Like, I want to be as great as I can be, or at least I want to take steps towards pursuing this unique greatness that, we are all called to. So I made this shoe in hopes to kind of start that process of exploring this journey for myself. So Womodoro was the brand. It was made in Italy. That's why I made it. I named it Womodoro, man of gold. So this was a success, in its own way. Like, I didn't make a lot. I only made 50 shoes. I saved some of them for future purposes, for promotional stuff and things. But I sold shoes, and people loved it. everyone loved it, and they still do, and I still do. I think it's a gorgeous shoe, and we really nailed it, you know, the team that I worked with. So this was a great experience for me, but what I really learned was that as much as I love sneakers and making really nice things, and I do, and I want to continue to do that, the bigger like macro level of like what I really want to do is I want to tell stories, because this is really like a story. And the whole packaging of the shoe, like the box and everything, and like designing it all, I love design. So I was realizing that I really loved telling a story, you know, through visuals and things like that. So with that thought that I had, that insight that I had, in some of my like quiet time that I have, you know, I try to allow myself to do daily, I really started getting all these ideas for a whole story world of characters, a mythological, basically a mythological story around this crown, you know, and it was like, what am I doing? This is crazy. It was a similar feeling to starting the journey of making this shoe. It was kind of like, this is crazy, but like lots of joy and excitement with it. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. And no, you can't do that, can you? Is that okay for me to do? Is that childish? Or stuff like that, all these like judgments. Those things were kind of coming up with this story world that I was like, that was just bubbling out of me in my imagination. And literally being woken up at 3 a.m. every night for like a month. And I'm like, okay, God, if this is what you're doing, to me it feels like, okay, God's doing this to me right now. You know, I don't know if that's the case, but that's what it feels like, right? So I thought, okay, I'm gonna honor this. It's good, it's interesting, it's creative, it's all in line with what I'm trying to do as far as inspire this unique greatness that we all have to pursue it, you know? So I thought, okay, sure, I'll write these ideas down. And after a month of that, I had this whole story world of all these characters and this high concept of how this world operates and works, kind of based upon some of the design aspects of the shoe, and specifically the crown. Okay, so that was a lot of fun. I thought, okay, this is kind of crazy, you know. I didn't really know where that was going to take me. I didn't think it was. I almost didn't even take it seriously, you know. But I reached out. I actually looked for some information online, and on like how to build a story world, how to build a story and stuff like that. I came across a certain author. You know what? I'll get that book for you in maybe another video, or I'll link it down at the bottom below this video. And I reached out to the author, and I was like, hey man, like I read your book, or I'm reading, in the process of reading it, and I got this story, and I wanted to see what you thought of it. And we ended up having a phone call, and he like works in the industry, like the Hollywood industry and stuff. He gave me that reassurance, and he said, you know what, this is really cool. Like I could really see this could really work. And I thought, oh, okay, that's cool. I'm not so crazy. By the way, which was the same feelings that I had with the shoe, right? With the shoe, I was like, I'm crazy. And then once I did it, once I did little steps towards it, I kind of looked for a little bit of feedback, and I would just I'd get the feedback. So I thought, okay, well, I'm onto something. And then when it was completely done, I got like wonderful feedback. I still do. And it's like, okay, good. I have something here, you know? So the same process kind of happened with this story world thing. I needed to know that I wasn't crazy. So once I knew that, okay, there's something there, I started to think about how I could kind of move with this. And this was about a year ago. So I kind of let it like gestate a little bit, and I don't even remember all the details, but there were some things that I would do to explore it and all this. And then came around to just recently this whole NFT explosion. If you haven't heard of NFT, it's like a non-fungible token. It's basically, right now what's become very popular in that world is art. So it's digital art being sold. So that was like a huge. It perked my ears. I was like, "Well, what's going on over here?" And it gave me this kind of the green light to kind of get back to this story world that I created and the characters, some of the characters that I created, and some ideas that I had about how I wanted to introduce that, i.e. through some of the historical figures in the program or in the story world, and actually making like a portrait style image that's very striking, that kind of tells part of the story of this high concept that I have. So I thought, wow, what an interesting way to kind of enter into the market through this new technology. So I spent like a whole month learning about the crypto world and the NFT stuff, and then I created a plan to introduce a couple of the characters to the NFT space through artwork. So in the last few weeks, or a month or so, I've been getting my idea clear down into a brief, speaking to some artists, basically introducing this idea. And so there's been a lot of learning through that, how to do that, fears of like, do I share my ideas with people, so there's a lot that I've learned around like fear, abundance, thinking like in abundance instead of thinking of like someone's gonna steal my stuff. Like at the end of the day, this whole thing is me. Like Womodoro is me. Like anyone who knows me, like when I showed them the shoe, they're like, yeah, man, that's totally something you would do. It's part of me. Like that's how I am. If you're around me, you kind of know like I have a passion for like just doing something great. Like I want to do something great. I don't feel like I've done it yet, but I feel like I'm starting to be on the way of that. And anyway, I could go on and on about all this. I just really wanted to get the video done so that I could just post it and say I did it, and then maybe make a comment below on what you liked about what I said. Maybe there's some things that you want to hear more about of the journey, and I mean there's so many things that I'd love to share with you guys, so let me know in a comment below. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. But yeah, man, this is just this has been a lot of fun just doing this for the last few minutes. I'm gonna stop it, and yeah, I hope to see you again, and this is exciting.